Hey everybody, it's Christine Ernst, the Fat Ass Cancer Bitch, coming to you from the Cozy Writing Cottage here in Sandwich, Massachusetts. I'm a little achy today because I had my COVID and flu shot yesterday. I took some Tylenol, but I feel like shit. Some chapstick will help. I hope you're well. I hope you had a good Halloween. We had, of our 13 pounds of candy, we had 11 left over because we only got 10 kids, which is more than the 6 I predicted. But my niece and nephew will be here today, so that will be taken care of in short order. I hope my brother and sister-in-law are not listening. Oh, they never listen, so that's okay. Kids, have as much candy as you want. I'm going to read a piece today called March 4th, and it's about my walking partner that I've talked about before. Here goes. So I go with Joanne to her bank to open an account so that I can access her safe deposit in the inevitable, but I think distant, she thinks sooner event of her demise. She is my walking partner. 90 years old, badass. We've been friends for over 20 years. I've talked about her before. We generally meet once a week for 3 miles on the bike path. Today we meet at the bank before our walk. She chose TD because the Santander branch closed and TD is Canadian, and Canadians are such nice folk. She's disappointed, though, because in order to access her safe deposit box when she dies, these nice Canadians insist that I must have an account with their bank. So she has made an appointment. 9 a.m. on this sunny October Friday. We arrive a little early. We tell the teller we have an appointment, and a manager comes out to greet us. Let's call her Tracy. She is my age-ish, dressed in a lovely teal suit and lots of jangly jewelry with an impressive Halloween-themed manicure. Her fingernails are very long, like extremely long. Like, how could you ever count money with those fingernails? And they're decorated like jack-o'-lanterns and candy corn. She shakes my hand warmly and says, "Good morning, Joanne. Thanks for coming in." I say, "I'm Christine," and I turn to Joanne. "This is Joanne. She made the appointment." Tracy looks confused for a moment. Her glance flicks to Joanne's cane, down to her sturdy walking shoes that could be taken for clunky orthopedics, I guess, as if Tracy cannot process the idea of dealing with an old person. I mean, she is working in a bank on Cape Cod, and we're actually inside the bank. Like, who goes inside a bank anymore but really old people? Seriously? Tracy, she returns her gaze to mine, Tracy does, sort of defiantly, and Tracy asks me, "How can I help you today, Christine?" As if Joanne is invisible. Sort of defiantly, I turn again to Joanne with a look that says, "What the fuck?" Joanne says in the same slow and patient way that she used to talk to small children in the bookstore where we both worked. "We're here to open an account for my friend because your bank requires it so she can access my safe deposit box." Tracy finally looks at Joanne and cocks her head, arranges the muscles of her face, clasps her hands in a practiced whole-body gesture of patronizing saccharine patience that people use for the very aged, for the not very aged even. "Well, then, come right this way, Miss Joanne." Miss Joanne looks over her shoulder at me with a look that says, "What the fuck?" though I have never heard her utter a profanity, though now would be an excellent time to do so. We sit in the aquarium office off the lobby. Tracy's nails clack the keyboard. We both produce our licenses. Is Tracy surprised that Joanne is still driving? Yes, Tracy is actually surprised that Joanne is still driving. She raises an eyebrow as she records Joanne's date of birth so appropriately, so magnificently, so perfectly. March 4th. 1933. Joanne and I both initial many forms, answer many questions. It takes a full 30 minutes to create an account at TD, Canadian or not, which gives Joanne and I a long time to chat while Tracy clacks. Joanne's eyes slide occasionally to the clacking. It is impressive, the noise, but also the fact that she can actually type at all. I asked Joanne, mostly for Tracy's benefit, "How many miles are we walking today?" We always only walk 3. For years, we've only walked 3 miles. But I say with a wink, it's such nice weather. Let's do 5 today. Joanne is all in on this game and winks back. Says, "I think I'm up for 6, actually." But Tracy is oblivious and clacks away. We stay with the game and talk about the books we're reading, my lightweight British mystery, her scholarly history of Arctic bird migration. We discuss the awful news, her search for handyman, the op-ed piece in the New York Times she has saved for me. Joanne says, as she often does, I've been thinking about my obituary. Now, in the whole time I have known Joanne, her death is almost always a topic of conversation, not in a ghoulish way, never, but in a practical, being prepared Norwegian sort of way. She is Danish, and she's been Swedish death cleaning since she had a small stroke in 1997, as if she could keel over at any moment. Well, I suppose she could, but here we are, 26 years later. I joke, that's fine, but you're going to live another 15, and anyway, you know I'm going to rewrite it. You have to include the years you lived in Pakistan and Afghanistan, right? What about touring South America by tramp steamer? The special education laws you helped enact in the 70s, you have to include that you went camping with the drummer from Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Tracy may have actually stopped typing there. And of course, you were a Nebraska State spelling champ contender in 1943. You have to include that. Joanne and I are laughing now, trading the fun facts of her very long life. Tracy prints out 11 forms for us to sign. I scrawl my illegible signature. Joanne carefully, methodically, calligraphically, frankly, signs hers in perfect Palmer method. Tracy remains unimpressed, impatient even. We stand at last. Tracy shakes my hand firmly. Thanks for doing business with us, Christine, she says with practiced ease. And thank you, Miss Joanne, she smarms, and sort of pats her shoulder. She has a bright idea now. Would you like a tote bag, Miss Joanne? Some pens, a paperweight, a calendar, maybe? She gestures to a table full of promotional TD swag by the window. No, thank you, Tracy, Joanne says, looking her in the eye. She leans in a little, almost whispers, I'm just fine. Ah! I wish I had my bite me bag with me that day. It's kind of amazing. I mean, she's 5'2", she looks like a China doll, she has white hair, but she's standing there dressed in like LL Bean's best. I'm still marveling at that experience. Joanne said she's used to it. And she's like been used to it for like 25 years because she's 90. And she will live another 15. I'm almost sure of it. So take that as a cautionary tale. Don't let old people be invisible. I'm already becoming invisible. Somehow I fell off the radar of the male gaze when I stopped coloring my hair and it started to go gray. Which is a kind of I don't know, covert superpower. Like I'm kind of like a stealth interloper. It makes it easier to gather information, to write about and skewer people with, which I adore doing sometimes. Tracy at TD Bank, listen up. Have a lovely weekend. Go talk to someone really old. Ask them about their lives. Help them write their obituary. Write your own obituary. This is such an important task and kind of a fun thing to do. We did that with my writing class this morning. Like every year, just sit down and set a timer for 10 minutes and write a couple of paragraphs about your life. And put it in your safe deposit box if you have one, or in a safe place that you won't forget. Or just put it somewhere where you can read it every now and again and remind yourself what you have accomplished and what good you have done in the world, what difference you have made. It's important to remind ourselves of these facts, especially as we age and feel increasingly invisible, especially, in the middle of this horrible news cycle when we feel so helpless and powerless. Go do some good in your village. You are beloved, and you are beloving. Two sides to that. Bite me, and beloved. Come as you are, always. So happy to share this with you every week. Be well. Have a good week. Mwah. I'll see you next Saturday.